A crowning achievement of the historic March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech, was pushing through the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965. Recognizing the history of racist attempts to prevent black people from voting, that federal law forced a number of southern states to adhere to federal guidelines allowing citizens access to the polls. But in 2013, the Supreme Court effectively gutted many of these protections. As a result, states are finding new ways to stop more and more people, especially African Americans and other likely Democratic voters, from reaching the polls. Several states are requiring government-issued photo IDs, like driver's licenses, to vote, even though there's no evidence of the voter fraud this is supposed to prevent. But there's plenty of evidence that these ID measures depress voting, especially among communities of color, young voters, and lower-income Americans. Alabama, after requiring photo IDs, has practically closed driver's license offices in counties with large percentages of black voters. Other states are reducing opportunities for early voting. And several state legislatures, not just in the South, are gerrymandering districts to reduce the political power of people of color and Democrats, and thereby guarantee Republican control in Congress. Here's one way they do it. Now, here are 16 black dots and 12 white squares. If districts were not gerrymandered, they might look like this, and 3 out of 4 would have black dot majorities. But after gerrymandering, 3 out of 4 have white square majorities. We need to move to the next stage of voting rights, a new Voting Rights Act that renews the law that was effectively repealed by the conservative activists on the Supreme Court, and also sets minimum national standards, providing automatic voter registration when people get driver's licenses, allowing at least 2 weeks of early voting, and taking districting away from the politicians and putting it under independent commissions. Voting rights are too important to be left to partisan politics. We must not allow anyone's votes to be taken away.